With the 35th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Nick Chubb, running back.
Good morning, everyone out there. Hope you're having a great start to your Monday, and welcome into another draft edition of the Barking Brown Show. I'm your host, Jacob. I'm going to be flying solo on this podcast due to some scheduling difficulties yesterday after the game. So I'm recording this here first thing. So for today, we got a 5-round Cleveland Browns mock draft. Now, yesterday, after Shedeur Sanders' strong performance in the loss against Tennessee, I said that I continue to be intrigued by him, the flashes, and I want to see him with a better supporting cast, and that includes coaching. I stand by those statements I made. He had a great game at times. I should say this. Overall, he had a really good game. He had some awesome moments. There were some ugly moments. It was a bit of a roller coaster, but it was also his third career start. And I continue to think that if he can build off of that in the next couple of weeks, I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued, and I want to see more. And I want to see more with a different coaching staff, a different offensive line, a different set of skill players outside of Harold Fanta and Quinshon Judkins, and all those things. So with that being said, I thought, let's do a mock draft as if they're going into the year with Shedeur Sanders as a starting quarterback. Now, I still think on day 2, maybe round 2, round 3, that there's a good chance no matter what, they'll take a quarterback. But let's say Shedeur Sanders the next 4 weeks continues to show flashes, and you go, okay, well, based on where the Browns are picking, there's only 2 quarterbacks in Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza out of Oregon, Indiana, respectively, that I think are even worth first-round picks. So if those guys could be gone and you have no choice. So for today's mock, I'm going to say that Shedeur continues to flash, continues to show, that he has the skill set to be a quality starter, and he works on some of the negatives, like hold on to the ball a little bit too long and try and, drifting back in the pockets and things like that. I think he's improving. But yeah, those bad habits, they're still there. So it wasn't perfect, but it was hopeful, right? And I continue to think those same things. I just want clean house, get a new regime, new head coach, build around the quarterback position, let Shedeur compete with a day 2 rookie, and go from there. That's kind of where I'm at. So let's dive into it. All right. So I'm going to treat it as though in this simulation, Fernando Mendoza was the only quarterback that went ahead. I'm going to assume that Dante Moore is off the board in this situation because I think somebody will try to jump the Browns potentially. But again, we're doing this as though we believe Shedeur Sanders is the one that's going to get the first crack at being the starter in 2026. And so for me, it's easy. Looking down through here, we could get some weapons, things like that. I want to start with offensive tackle because I think there's a handful of offensive tackles at the top that are worth it, and then it drops off a cliff. Whereas the wide receiver position, I could look at this wide receiver position in this draft class like I looked at running back last year. I think it's loaded full of talent. I think right now 27 is where they will pick again with the Jaguars pick. I think I can get a great player there. My number 1 tackle is the number 1 tackle still on the board. That's Spencer Fano. He's a right tackle from Utah. 0 sacks allowed this year, 1 sack last year. This is a mean, nasty, in-your-face, physical tackle. He's at his best as a run blocker. I think he just loves to maul people. You think of Wyatt Teller in his heyday, just liking to put people on the ground, liking to hurt people, so to speak. That's kind of how I look at Spencer Fano. I think he's a really talented tackle. I think you put him over there on the right side and you feel good about it. And Quinshon Judkins, I think, would have a heyday running behind a guy like Spencer Fano. I think he's really refined. I love his hands. That's what his hands are really what stands out as a pass blocker, really strong physical jolt, take control of the rep and knock pass rushers off their plan and kind of startle them but no sacks, 5 hurries, no hits. He's been great as a pass protector. He's been great as a run blocker. Big, mean, physical, powerful, good hands. Everything you could want in a right tackle. And that's the thing. I know there's no left tackles at the top of this draft that I think are worth a pick. So maybe we'll see if we can double dip a little bit later. But if you're building around the quarterback position, this offensive line has been a major problem. So I'm going to take Spencer Fano here, 4th overall, and feel really good about my right tackle position. All right, back on the board here. Ione really does intrigue me here at the guard position for Penn State. He's allowed just 3 pressures on this season. You can see the 88.1 PFF pass blocking grade. I was going to take a wide receiver here, but 6'4", 328. I think he has good movement skills. I think he's technically refined. He needs to add some more power to be more of a people mover as a run blocker. But I like his footwork. I like his hand usage. I like his technique overall. And if he's sitting here, he's the best true guard that I have on my roster or on my big board. I think I'm going to actually lean this way. I was going to go wide receiver, but I think I can get a wide receiver at the top of round 2, and I can really rebuild this offensive line and feel really good about left guard for the next 10 years, feel really good about right tackle for the next 10 years. I know Bill will be a little bit upset with me if I do this because he's just not a super powerful guy. He's more of a finesse athletic player. But if you clean up, the technique is good, but if you add some more power and strength to his profile, I think he's going to be a really good guard at the next level. And like I said, 3 pressures is always allowed in 11 games, and that's just a ridiculous number in my personal opinion. So you're going to fix the pass blocking on the left, help fix the pass blocking on the left side. You've already got your right tackle. So I can't pronounce his name. Ione is his last name, the left guard from Penn State. So that's where I'm actually going to go for the second round. And I've got my right tackle, I've got my left guard, and I'm really setting up my quarterback, in this case being Shedeur Sanders, for success, rebuilding that offensive line. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to look at wide receiver here at 36. I think this is a very deep class. There's a lot of there's a lot of intrigue for me here because Elijah Surratt, he doesn't have a crazy amount of elite physical traits, but he's like Mr. Reliable. Like he's going to catch everything. He's good in contested catch situations. He understands how to attack zone coverage. Chris Bell has got the size speed element, as does Chris Braswell out of Tennessee, where these guys have big size. I think I might go Chris Bell just because you're looking at a guy that's got some rare physical traits, 917 yards. You're looking at a guy that's 6'2", 220, but can also move at a really ridiculous clip for his size. I'm going to see if I can pull this up real quick because I wanted to know. This is great. I should have pulled this up before, shouldn't I? Yeah, Bell is going to run in the 4.4s at 6'3", 220. Like, are you messing with me? Like, that's 4.4 speed at 620 pounds, and we've already worked on the offensive line, and now we can get a new alpha wide receiver because he has a big physical playmaker. Yeah, yep. This is how you build around the quarterback position. This is how you set Shedeur Sanders up for success, as we are assuming he is going to be the quarterback. So this is where I'm going to go. I don't think Ty Simpson will come out. I don't think Lenore Sellers will come out. But in the 3rd round, I think Jaden Mayava will already be gone. But a guy I'm really intrigued by is Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback from Cincinnati. I think his footwork is kind of a mess. It's wildly inconsistent. You see the completion percentages only at 61, but the adjusted at 70. His mechanics need work, but he's got the tools. You can see only a 1.8% turnover worthy play rate. So he does not put the ball in harm's way. He has a 6.4% big time throw rate. He's got all the tools that you want, just needs some time. So if he's one of those guys that you could take here and you feel really good about the backup quarterback position. And if it doesn't work out with Shedeur Sanders as the number 1, then you have a guy in waiting that you can work and develop and fix those mechanics that can go out there. So ultimately, I think even if in this scenario, we're assuming Shedeur Sanders continues to play really well, it is going to be the quarterback, and he continues to play like he played yesterday, is I guess what I'm getting at. He builds on it, gets better. And if he does, I still think they'll take a quarterback maybe in the second or third round. So I'm going to take Brendan Swearsby from Cincinnati because he's got an intriguing skill set, but just needs some work on his mechanics. All right, we are back on the clock at 1:04. Let's see what we got. Justin Jolie is an interesting. I'm gonna look at the tight end position here. Justin Jolie from North Carolina State is a really interesting guy. Only a 2.1% drop rate here. You can see that just the one drop, 167 targets. Halfway decent run blocker. Because that's kind of what I'm looking at if I'm looking for a tight end in this spot. I don't know. I'm not sure I want to go this direction. Let me look at the corner. They could use a little bit of corner help as well. Will Lee is there. Jason. Let's see at the top of the board overall. Miko Kamara, if they want to get some more edge help. I do like Earl Little quite a bit. Yeah, kind of a move all around safety. Does a little bit in the box, does a little bit deep. They could use that. I'm going to take Justin Jolie. I'm going to take the tight end. They can use some more pass catchers. A really good receiver. I know the run blocking grade isn't great, but I think he's a halfway decent guy. He's got the size. 6'3", 263. Yeah, he's the guy that I think if he can clean up the technique, he can be a really quality run blocker, but also add some more pass catching ability. So he's got the size, the physicality. Not a crazy athlete, but you're taking him here in the fourth round. But I think high quality blocker, high quality. He's got the power. So if you can refine him a little bit as a run blocker, I think you'd be in a good spot. So I'm going to take Justin Jolie, the tight end from North Carolina State. Wait for us to come back on the board for picks 1 and 41 and pick 1 and 43. So at 141, I'm going to look again at corner, and I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Jalen Kilgore from South Carolina. He's a nickel. He's a slot guy. They could use some help at slot. It's been kind of an up and down year for Miles Harden over there. 11 forced missed incompletions, allowed just one touchdown and allowing just a 58.9 passer rating when targeted. But he is a little bit. He's almost 21 years old, 6'1", 211. So he's one of the bigger guys you're going to see at the position in the slot, but a 49.2% completion percentage. He's a better run defender than he is in coverage, but big, physical, strong, will come down and run support and plays a slot at a pretty high level in the SEC. So give me Jalen Kilgore here and give me a new slot. All right. Let's wrap it up here. I'm going to take Zachariah Branch. I'm going to double down on wide receiver. Zachariah Branch is probably, I'll pull his profile up for you guys that are watching. He's probably a slot only at the next level, just because of the size at 5'10", 180 pounds. But this dude can straight up fly. He destroys man coverage. So you got your big, physical, fast Chris Bell. Then you got a true burner out of the slot in Zachariah Branch. You got a new left tackle. You got a new right tackle or left guard and a new right tackle. This is how I look at it, building around Shedeur Sanders in this situation for this week's mock draft. So here it is in all of its glory. They're not going to like me taking Fano a lot earlier than they have him rated. So that's going to hurt my grade, but that's okay. So for me, in this mock, we're assuming that the flashes we saw this week from Shedeur Sanders continue to happen and that they go into next year and say, hey, we're going to build around him with a new coach, a new regime, and we're going to see what we have, and we're going to build around the quarterback. So right tackle Spencer Fano at pick 4 overall. Then get me Ione, the left guard from Penn State, who's allowed just 3 quarterback pressures total, not hits, not sacks, just 3 hurries. Chris Bell, the big 6'3", 220, runs in the 4.4s. Yeah, that's a new weapon. Brendan Sorsby, kind of a project quarterback in the third round, just in case things don't work out. Justin Jolie, the tight end from North Carolina State, who's a good, not great blocker, but good blocker, good receiver. I think has the power and the size to become a great blocker. Jalen Kilgore, the physical slot corner from South Carolina at pick 141, and then the speedster from the slot, Zachariah Branch from Georgia, the wide receiver at the pick 143. Love to know what you guys think of this draft. We will dive even deeper into Shedeur Sanders' performance and the Browns as a whole on Wednesday's show at 1 p.m. live on our YouTube. So I hope to see you guys there. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, and let me know what you think. So we'll see you guys again next time. Go Browns.